Hello, everybody. We are here to talk about the Bessemer petition to resign one day after they were appointed as co-conservators. So this document was, looks like just filed today. Hello, everybody. So we're just gonna jump right into this. I don't want to take too much extra time here. I'm so annoyed because it looks like that petition to terminate the conservatorship that they were talking about in the news does not exist, because I think it would have been up by now. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Just trying to wait for a few people to get here. Okay, so the title, as you can see, it was filed today on July 1st. The title is Ex parte Application for Court Approval of Resignation of Bessemer Trust Company of California as co-conservator of the estate due to changed circumstances, and then it looks like they're going to have declarations and support. This is a 20-page document, so let's just get into it. Okay. Please take notice. So this is just a long paragraph of saying the same thing that the title says, and it says the reason they want to resign is because their circumstances have changed. So what are the circumstances? What I have read in the news and from headlines and stuff is that they were not aware Britney wanted to be out of the conservatorship, and something about they had problems with Sam Ingham or something. Okay. Petitioner was appointed by, petitioner is going to be Bessemer. So Bessemer was appointed by minute order of the court November 10th, 2020, but has been awaiting entry of the court's order, which was just entered yesterday, and issuance of letters of conservatorship authorizing petitioner to act. This request for approval is so this current request today, right, the thing they're talking about now. So they're talking about this thing from November, and a lot of media is erroneously reporting this, and I'm going to have to make a video on this exactly on its own. But Judge Penny did not deny Britney's request at her hearing to enter conservatorship or remove Jamie. It was in November that Sam Ingham stood up in front of the court and was oh, Britney's scared of her father. He called her a racehorse. Can we remove him? But if you remember, Judge Penny was okay, no, because you have to file a petition. And friggin' Sam Ingham never did that. So she said, I'm not going to grant your order, just asking me right now. You're going to have to file a petition, and then I'll revisit it. So I'm not denying it permanently. I'm not denying it with prejudice. And that's what all the media is reporting about, whenever they're saying oh, Jamie, Britney request to remove her father gets denied. Fucking that happened in November. It was just so happened that they took forever, and Sam Ingham messed up the filings at first. He put signature pages on the wrong thing, and then I'm sure other people were stalling, and all of that happened. So this thing in November just got signed yesterday. So now Bessemer's coming in and saying, but this request for approval of resignation is being brought based on the following circumstances. Okay. Number one, the fact that the conservatee claimed irreparable harm to her interests in her testimony, and more specifically, her objection to the continuation of her voluntary conservatorship and her desire to terminate the conservatorship. So number one just basically says, we heard Britney talking on June 23rd, and don't sound like she actually wants us to be managing her money, so we're not going to do that. Number two, to promote judicial economy by obviating the need to formalize the appointment of petitioner who has not been issued letters of conservatorship and therefore is not currently authorized to act, has taken no actions as conservator. Okay, so basically they're saying there are still some formalities to do to make us full conservators. And so in order to not waste money and not waste time, the petitioner is okay, hold on. Okay, so basically the first reason is they heard Britney talk. The second reason is it's going to actually probably just be more trouble than it's worth for us to come in. There's still so much more stuff to do. So that's another reason why we don't want to waste anyone's time or money. If you look at number one, we don't want to be involved here. And here's the changed circumstances that they're going to talk about here. In originally consenting to its appointment, Bessemer relied on representations of the parties, that the conservatorship was voluntary, and that all parties, including Britney, had consented to Bessemer acting as co-conservator of the estate. The second circumstance they say is, in fact, Britney had nominated Bessemer to act as conservator and consented to it. As a result of Britney's testimony at the June 23rd hearing, however, Bessemer has become aware that Britney objects to the continuing of the conservatorship, and she wants to terminate it. And so it says petitioner, meaning Bessemer. Oh, this is nice. Petitioner has heard conservatee, and respects her wishes. Aw, what a nice law firm, Seyfarth Shaw. I've actually heard of them before. So Bessemer says, we have heard Britney and we respect her wishes. So due to those things we just said above, we are tendering resignation as co-conservator, and we request that the court will approve it. Since there is currently an acting conservator of the estate, our resignation will not result in any vacancy in the office of the conservator of the estate. This application is based on the attached memo and the supporting declaration. So we're going to have more documents to read just when we keep scrolling. Okay, request for special notice has been filed by Gladstone Jones, who were provided telephonic notice of this petition. Okay, cool. Good job, Seyfarth. All right. So here's the memo that they're basing their whole thing on. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what their actual real reasons are. However, they are at least doing this. So I'm happy that at least somebody in here is not trying to take more money from Britney. Okay, so it says Bessemer Trust Company was as the appointed co-conservator of the estate of Britney Spears, who's not currently authorized to act, is resigning and requests that the court approve the resignation due to the change of circumstances set forth below. And then they say, under California rules, a party can apply for relief if it can demonstrate exigent circumstances that justify the relief that they request. So this current application or petition that's filed is based on the following exigent circumstances. One, and we already read this one, basically everything Britney said in court. B, same thing as we already read. Okay. Petitioner respectfully requests the court approve the resignation on an expedited basis because there's exigent circumstances set forth above, and the changed circumstances created by Britney's objection to the conservatorship and Britney's desire to terminate the conservatorship. It would be expedient and in the best interest of all the parties and the interest of judicial economy for the court to approve Bessemer's resignation before the court issues the letters of the conservatorship to petitioner. So the court has to do this next step thing to really authorize Bessemer to act. And so they're saying don't even do that part. Just honestly let us out. We want out. We're tapping out. Since there's currently a conservator of the estate, there is not going to be a vacancy. The court has authority to accept the petitioner's resignation. And then the argument is petitioner was appointed November 10th, 2020. The court has the authority to accept this resignation. Bessemer believes the court should accept Bessemer's resignation. That means they're just trying to resign. And Bessemer agreed to act as conservator in reliance on the agreement of all the parties to provide stability to the estate administration. And then they're going to have some declarations back here where I think they're going to get into some gossip. It was represented to petitioner by the parties that the ongoing conservatorship was voluntary, that Britney had consented in writing to Bessemer acting as co-conservator, and that all of the parties agreed that Bessemer would act as conservator. These representations were supported by the conservatee's nomination, by Britney's nomination. If you remember, she actually did, fill out her own, one second, lost my spot. She did her own petition, to nominate Bessemer. So they're saying, like, she even did her own nomination. Based on the representations and agreement of the parties and reliance on those representations and agreements, Bessemer consented to act as co-conservator. The same representations and agreements described above were made to the court on November 10th at the hearing, at which Bessemer wasn't there. And based on these representations and agreements of the parties, the court appointed Bessemer to act as the co-conservator. From and after the November 10th hearing to the present date, Bessemer has been awaiting the entry of the court's formal order, that, like, basically waiting to get that order signed. And, Bessemer was just informed that the court entered the order on June 30th, 2021. Because letters of conservatorship have not yet been issued, Bessemer still has no legal authority to act as the co-conservator. Bessemer has taken no actions as conservator, has made no decisions as conservator, and has received no assets of the estate, and has taken no fees. Wow. As a result of Britney's testimony at the June 23rd hearing, Bessemer has become aware that Britney objects to the continuance of the conservatorship, and she desires to terminate the conservatorship. So due to these changed circumstances, Bessemer is resigning. Bessemer has made the decision to resign only after thoughtful deliberation, keeping Britney's expressed wishes in mind. Given that Bessemer has been appointed, but has no legal authority to act because letters of conservatorship have not issued, approval by the court of Bessemer's resignation prior to them being authorized to act will promote judicial economy. So basically, like, we don't want to waste the court's time, money, effort, whatever. Like, please just, like, do the economical thing and let us out. Since there is still currently acting a conservator of the estate, that's Jamie, there's not going to be a vacancy. Petitioner waives its right to receive any fees and any reimbursement of its costs. So they just went ahead and ate this money. Like, there's no telling how much this, like, even just this document cost them to, like, pay the lawyers at Seyfarth to. There's no telling how much they paid them to write up this little thing, but they're just saying, like, we don't even friggin' care. Like, honestly, just, like, we don't even want reimbursement. Just let us out of this thing. Wow. Since the petitioner was never authorized to act as co-conservator, petitioner's Bessemer has taken no actions, has taken no fees. Please waive any accounting by petitioner. Oh, okay. So they're asking the court, don't make us do any accounting because we haven't done anything and we don't really want to get caught up in all this mess. The resignation of Bessemer is accepted. Okay, so this will be the order they're asking for her to accept the resignation of Bessemer, to waive any accounting that they're going to require Bessemer to prepare, and alternatively, that they would shorten the time. Hold on, sorry. The time. Okay, so generally it would take a while for the judge to, like, actually hear the application. So they're just saying, like, make it go faster, like, expedited. Like, can you let us out by July 14th, which is going to be the next court date. Okay. So let's make this smaller. Okay. So this is from the managing director of Bessemer. And Jeff Glowacki says, I have read the foregoing. So this is just a verification. He's basically saying, I read that thing that we all just read, and I agree. And he signed it. So here's Exhibit A. We have those minute orders from November 10th where they approved Bessemer. Okay, here is Jeff's declaration, and maybe we will get some tea here. Okay. I am managing director at Bessemer Trust Company of California. So that's Jeff. Unless indicated otherwise, I have personal knowledge of the matters in this declaration. Okay. He was contacted by Sam Ingham. So this is some info. the court-appointed counsel for Britney, who asked whether Bessemer would be interested in acting as co-conservator of the estate. Number 4, I was told by the parties that the conservatorship was ongoing, voluntary conservatorship, and I am aware that Britney had consented to Bessemer's appointment. On August 27th, Britney nominated Bessemer to act as conservator of her estate. Once the agreement of the parties that Bessemer should act as the conservator of estate was obtained, and in reliance thereon, Bessemer agreed to act. So he was saying, like, Bessemer is saying, we had gotten an agreement that everybody was all on board and Britney consented and all this was here, and then we relied on that to make our decision. If we would have been told that this was an involuntary conservatorship, if we would have known Britney wanted to cancel this thing, we would never have even agreed to do it. Once the agreement, the court appointed Bessemer as co-conservator of the estate on November 10th, 2020. Jeff says he is informed the order was signed on June 30th, but that the letters of conservatorship have not been issued to Bessemer, so therefore Bessemer is still not currently authorized to act as the co-conservator. To date, although Bessemer was appointed on November 10th, because Bessemer does not have any legal authority to act yet, Bessemer has taken no actions as co-conservator, has made no decisions as co-conservator, has received no assets of the estate, and has taken no fees. As a result of the conservatee's testimony at the June 23rd hearing, Jeff says he became aware that Britney objects to the continuing of the conservatorship and desires to terminate the conservatorship. So Jeff says, I declare under penalty of perjury in the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct, and he signs his name. And that's pretty much it. Now we have this document here, which is the nomination of the conservator, which allegedly Britney signed, but I mean, I don't know. Is that Britney's signature? I wasn't thinking this question before. When I first read this, I was assuming Britney did sign this, but I don't know if she did. Britney Jean Spears hereby nominates Bessemer Trust Company to serve as conservator. And then we have the consent to act as conservator of the estate, which is Bessemer Trust Company on August 27th, saying that, yeah, we consent, we will do it. But again, they did that on the assumption that Britney, why do they never give Britney a good pen? Y'all are so funny. Y'all are saying it's not Britney's signature? Here, let me scroll back up. Y'all take a screenshot. Get the stands on this. Get the stands on this. True, good point, Steph. If even if it was her signature, was there a threat to her? That's a good question. But before we get to it, we have to even ask, does she even know about this? You know what I mean? Is it really her signature? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. And then here's their resignation, short and sweet. Love these short little documents. Bessemer Trust Company resigns as co-conservator effective upon approval of the court. And there we have it. That is it. I remember her making the fairy wings with the bee on one album. That's not her signature. It looks like someone did a bad job of forging. Lynn probably signed for her. She doesn't see any documents at all. How is this even real? What a horror story. I think that's a forgery. Did you see Elizabeth Warren and Robert Casey want to look at conservatorships? I did see that. So did her pen run out of ink? Looks like it. Somebody said it could be her on lithium. I know, Sam Asghari needs to just come on over to the lives at this point. Yeah, so I have a working theory of the case that, so we're done with this document. I do have a working theory of the case that Britney Spears in 2008 was not worth $2.8 million like they try to pretend and act. People say, oh, she was only worth 2.8 and now she's worth 60 million. Well, what they conveniently leave out when they're telling you that number is that Britney also started a couple trusts in 2004, one of which in particular called the SJB 2004 SJB Revocable Trust or something like that. That trust was started in 2004 and Britney put all of her assets from, all of her tangible assets into that trust. So maybe she had $2.8 million in like bank accounts and like properties outside of the trust. But it's my theory that it pissed Team Con off because Britney put money into a trust. And when you put money into a trust, it makes it very, very, very difficult for other people to get their hands on it. And so my theory is that Team Con got pissed off because Britney was funneling all her money into her trust, which was going to be for her kids. And she was starting to say things like she wanted to have babies, she wanted to have kids, she wanted to start a family, she wanted to retire from singing and music and whatever. And the powers that be, who I won't name right now because I ain't trying to get sued, didn't like that and said, no, we're not doing that. And so instead what we're going to do is put you in a conservatorship. We're going to make you look crazy, put you in a conservatorship. And then once she was in the conservatorship, it wasn't too long before they did have access to the investment vehicles of the trust. And then in 2018, Andrew Wallet and Jamie Spears amended that trust, making Jamie Lynn Spears the trustee, taking away this other guy, Ivan Tabak, and Brian Spears. And then in 2020, last year, Jamie Lynn Spears made a motion to the court to put the entire trust into the care of Stonebridge, which is Lou Taylor's former investment firm. If that's confusing to you, you should just go see my tweet thread about it or my Instagram post I made about it today. Kylie came up off a few things and Britney did all those things and way more and isn't a billionaire. I'm going to send you screenshots of her signature. Oh, perfect. I think Larry Rudolph played a big role, a huge part in getting her in the sea ship. It sounds very likely to me. Unreal. Okay, bottom line, what do you think should happen? I think she should be immediately released from the conservatorship. And I think that the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the SEC should investigate the financial aspects of this case. But who am I? What do I know? Elizabeth says Bessemer Trust respects Britney's wishes and they want nothing to do with her conservatorship. Sorry, I misspoke. They want nothing to do with her conservatorship. I think it is extremely admirable and they are leading by example. I agree, Elizabeth. How is she sending her documents if she can't even look at her own court documents? Well, she can look at them, Haley, but the rule said she can't look at them alone in private. She can only look at them if Sam Ingham is there and he cannot leave them with her. Let's see. Oh, shoot. Sorry, I'm trying to see this question. How can a trust be amended? Okay, so Leo Blanco, hello. How can a trust be amended if the conservatee, already stated her wishes before? That's a great question and one that I have wondered myself because they teach you when you're studying for the bar exam that the way to keep your assets out of probate court is to put them into a trust. Well, Andrew Wallet and Jamie Spears went and got an order of, quote, substituted judgment from the court. I don't remember. It must have been Brenda Penny. And Brenda Penny said, okay, yeah, we'll allow you to step into Britney's shoes and make a decision for her money, even though she was in her right mind. And, she's always been in her right mind, but even though Judge Penny knows that there was no question of her ability to think clearly in 2004, that's when she made the trusts. She still allowed Andrew Wallet and Jamie Spears to change it. So that's the thing. People always ask, BJ, like, how do I make sure that this doesn't happen to me? And normally a lawyer would say, make sure that you have a trust. Put your stuff in a trust. But clearly that did not help Britney here because Lou Taylor and all them were able to sort of find backway alleyways into that trust. And listen, if Stonebridge would have been able to, and I don't know if it was Lou Taylor for sure, but I think it was because she was associated with Stonebridge, but I really don't know. But if they were able to execute that plan they were trying to last year and put all Britney's money into this trust and to the care of Stonebridge would have been making fees off of the all of Britney's trust money. Like they would have been making fees, and they meaning, I don't know, like Lou Taylor's a founder. Okay. Who is that? No. Okay. Why is the media not reporting this? I think it's because a lot of the media that would be reporting on this right now is entertainment media. And entertainment media has to have good relationships with publicists and managers. So that would include Britney's publicists and managers who have other clients that these media sources want information from. So they basically have to not play nice. Because, think about it. If you're, business manager X and you have 15 high profile clients or 25 or 100 or whatever, and you give I don't know, like, I don't want to implicate anyone here, let's say Silver Crystal newspaper, say Silver Crystal newspaper gets to call you, business manager X, and ask you about your 15 or to 100 clients or whatever, and say you start talking shit about Silver Crystal. You start talking shit about that manager. Well, then that manager is not going to come back to you again and tell you more info on his or her client, right? And that's what I think is happening here. What I do think needs to happen is more non-entertainment publications and media needs to start reporting on it in a way that it takes it seriously, that this is a question of financial and fiduciary duties. Let me see. Irrevocable trust rather than revocable. Revocable can still form part of one's estate. Okay, so Jen O'Neill is saying an irrevocable trust. Okay, so revocable trust can become part of your estate. Okay, got it. They all need to be investigated. I agree. Is she going to testify to Congress? Oh, I have no idea. Lou Taylor is pretty damn quiet about this. Oh, I would be too. I wonder, Eric93 said, I wonder if maybe Sam Ingham hadn't filed the paperwork for the termination because they were waiting for Bessemer to file the withdrawal. Maybe. That's a good question. Does anyone know what Project Rose means? I don't think so. I don't. If it was just about protecting Britney, the trust would have been left alone for her kids the way Britney intended. Yep. But nope, they just had to get their slimy hands into her trust. Yep. This is so fucked up. All this for money. Project Rose is a mission that saves trafficking victims. Ignore Britney's Instagram. Y'all really think they would let her speak? Strategically, what do you think Team Khan's next move would be based on previous actions and current? Oof. Good question. I think they're gonna challenge Britney's mental health and make her sit for an evaluation, and then they're gonna want her to sit for an evaluation with a doctor that they choose. But maybe they'll file a petition to terminate. Who knows? Everything's just been happening so differently than I thought. I never expected Britney to say what she said on June 23rd, and so I'm just kind of going with the flow at this point. Do you think Jody Montgomery will also cut her losses and resign? Based on her lawyer's statement that was released yesterday, I do not anticipate Jody resigning, but she might. I know that she does have ties to Sam Ingham. And hi, Snack Mom. Okay, everyone, his girl 1989 is my favorite rally friend because she always brings me snacks. Did Jody back out? No, Bessemer backed out. Do you know if Lou Taylor will be investigated? I do not know if she will. I can't believe how much of this seems so illegal. Same. We can only trust the New York Times. Wasn't there supposed to be a forensic accounting? Yeah, I thought there was. How is the C-ship valid if there's no dementia? Well, it's my contention that the C-ship is not valid. Watch Diego go. Have you heard more about the petition to terminate? No, and where is that petition to terminate? I want to know if the Vegas residency came after the conservatorship for breach of contract after Britney stated she just didn't want to do it. I've wondered that as well, Amber. Someone said they just checked her signature and it's definitely not hers. What's the next step? As far as this little piece right here, this is just Bessemer resigning, and so I think that the judge will probably approve this resignation. The next step is someone has to file a petition to terminate. I would assume that Sam Ingham is going to file one. There's no way he can't. He must be waiting on something. Elizabeth Warren wrote a letter to A.G. Garland and Secretary... Oh, good! Didn't Lou Taylor run? Yeah, she is no longer Britney's business manager, at least according to court documents. Anna Nicole's attorney and Britney's dad both have the same lawyer, Vivian Thoreen. Oh, is that true? Someone said, the Caleb 96 said the Project Rose was Britney alluding to her being trafficked by the conservatorship. Lots of people are thinking that. Why is Loeb and Loeb still there? They've done nothing. I know. Shelby Lee, basically Bessemer just said, like, they didn't know that Britney wanted to be out of the conservatorship, so they don't want to have anything to do with this anymore. And they're asking Judge Penny to let them resign. Is that what they stopped reporting Harvey Levin's involvement in all this? I thought it came out after he and Jamie working together. I don't know. Too many cooks in the kitchen ruin the recipe. Exactly. Would you go live on YouTube with Emily D. Baker? Yeah, I would. Bessemer would only... Molly Lama, I agree. I wish Bessemer would have waited to consult with Britney personally and do the financial discovery she deserves. The system is so corrupted. What would happen to Britney, Jamie, Lou? Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm just scrolling down. Where is Lynn's attorney that was pressuring for Britney to be able to hire her own counsel? Good question. B needs a new lawyer, Leanne said. If Ingham files a petition to terminate, we will wait for that hearing. Could Britney theoretically get a new lawyer before the hearing? Okay. Leanne, while waiting for the hearing, could Britney theoretically get a new lawyer before the hearing? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know about the civil procedure, I guess it's not civil, but I don't know about the procedure of that. I think she would be able to, like, petition for the new lawyer to come in and stuff, but I don't know who would actually argue the petition to terminate, and that may be actually why he hasn't filed it yet, because he's waiting to see if Britney is going to get a new lawyer, because why would Sam Ingham file a petition to terminate if he's not even going to be around long enough to argue it? But I really don't know, so don't come for me too hard, y'all. I'm just kind of pontificating. What will happen in an evidentiary hearing? An evidentiary hearing is pretty much like a trial where each side gets to ask questions and present evidence, and they get to ask the other side for evidence, to get to the bottom and let the court decide the facts of what actually happened, where there's like a he said and a she said. Could their resignation be denied? Anything could happen. I think it could be denied, but it probably won't be. Why isn't Penny giving Britney another lawyer like she requested? Well, Casey, I think Britney is going to have to be the one to choose her new lawyer. But I think that Judge Penny will probably give Britney another lawyer if, if she requests somebody specific. But I really don't know. I really don't know how that is going to be requested. Like, does Britney have to file something? Like, I really don't know how she'll request new counsel. Doesn't she have the right to fire and request new representation? Yes, Empress, she does. Loeb and Loeb has ties with Dina LaPolte, Lou's friend. Would you go live with Legal Eagle? Yeah, he's fun. At this point, Sam A is the only way Britney can go anywhere. Doesn't she have the right to her choice of counsel? Yes, Empress, she does. Okay, so Jill is Willie. Thinks Sam is waiting on a new attorney. Now that you laid the case out for fraud and criminal conspiracy by those who framed Britney, do you think there will ever be a prosecution? DocStat, I don't know if there will be prosecution for sure. I do think federal laws were broken, but I don't want to say that they were for sure because, of course, innocent until proven guilty. What do you think of Elizabeth Warren and Matt Gaetz' letters? I think that, about time. I wish Bessemer would have voiced these concerns as conservator. Couldn't Bessemer have advocated for Britney and getting her own lawyer? Yeah, but you know what, Nelson? I think that they probably were looking down the barrel at sorry for that violent analogy. I'm trying to use less violent analogies. I think they were looking in the eyes of a uphill battle, right? Like, they're going to really have to be Britney's warrior here, and they're going to be fighting against people, spending a lot of legal fees, and then they're going to be the ones that are getting called out for charging so much per hour, and it's going to cost a lot of money. And I think they didn't want the PR nightmare too. Bessemer doesn't need this bad publicity. Yeah, exactly, Leo. I hope they prosecute these people. My question is, if Ingham is replaced and Bessemer is gone, who can take over SJB since Ingham is currently guardian ad litem? Ooh, good question, the Molly Llama. Oh man, I have no idea. I have to think about that or ask some people. When will we hear your truth? Oh man. Hopefully my truth will be coming out soon. I'm not like keeping it from y'all on purpose. I'm trying to make sure I can't get in trouble, legally and some other ways. And so I just have to make sure that I'm not going to expose myself to trouble. I have to put everything in place first. But it's really weighing heavily on me that I have like having to keep this in. And I really want to tell y'all as soon as possible, Fit, Fast, Fury. There may end up being lawsuits though, so we'll see. I know. Still waiting to find out what happened when you disappeared. Yeah, we'll find out soonish. This is gonna get messy. They don't want blood on their hands. I'm from Canada. Can they not take it to someone above Penny? Someone has tried to do that before, and it got returned back down. Whose dad works at the FBI? Yeah, whose dad works at the FBI? Somebody, one of y'all's dad got to work. Oh, shoot. I forgot I had therapy, so I got to go. But I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.